easy going to the lion's den when you have people to work with you. So it's difficult, but I know that we appreciate it. First, I want to talk about the two, and I promise I'll make this quick. First one's a point of privilege, second is a question. Government currently runs Medicare and Medicaid. I have an older sister who is 4 years older than me, who is on Medicaid, who is mentally handicapped. My husband and I take care of her. She receives about $1,200 a month, which she is supposed to live off of, and whatever Medicaid does not cover should come out of that cost. Those of you in Kenosha, you can imagine where she is expected to live off of $1,200 a month plus medical bills. She has seizures, she has a lesion on her frontal lobe. My husband and I subsidize her medical bills, and I have a stack at home, a little over $6,000, and I just pay what I can. And I have no problem doing that because that's part of family. I'm okay with that. And I look at these bills and I see how much less the doctors are being paid. I see how late they're being paid, and I'm arguing, okay? Doctors go to school, they spend what, $300,000 in student loans. If the government is going to say, and I read the Senate bill, all gazillion pages of it, my summer's almost over, so I didn't get time for the House bill, but I did read it. And the one guarantee in that bill, the only guarantee that I found is that decisions are going to be made by that commissioner of medicine, or whatever they're calling themselves. Yeah. That's the only guarantee. I'm not making this up, read it. If you are not paying doctors, what is the incentive to become a physician? We're already short, and especially there's nothing. I look at that, and I too am a teacher, and I love my health care benefits, and I think I make tons of money. I don't know. I'm here. It's summer. And, but I promise you, I said this from day one. I don't blame taxpayers. Why would you want to pay higher taxes to the government and then pay property taxes even higher to make me have the Cadillac of insurances? I agree with you. I think that's unfair. So what's going to happen? I'm going to be pushing the public option, and to be honest with you, it sucks, but I don't blame you. So, public employees are going to be the first people that are going to see the downfall of this. So really, I guess my question for you is this. I read nothing about incentives for doctors, nurses, any type of practitioners. We have healthcare. We argue. People have healthcare in this country. Healthcare, they don't have insurance. You can go to a healthcare clinic and get care. What you're choosing is to not get off the chair and do it. Exactly. So, when you shove 37 million people into the new, into this healthcare system, where are the doctors? Who's going to do it? I already wait 2 hours, or I'm sorry, 2 weeks for a doctor's appointment. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Look at Medicare, look at Medicaid. I'm not making this stuff up.
So, if you think we got a shortage now, wait till boomers are in their golden years. We're going from 40 million retirees to 80 million retirees. We already know, based on just demographics, we're going to have a huge shortage of physicians and nurses in the fairly near future. So that's a big problem already. I mean, look at Gateway. Thank God Gateway has these great nursing programs to get people going into this profession. I think it's a legitimate question, given that the estimates tell us that physician income will go down tremendously, hospital income goes down because of underpayments. And then you have these new commissions and institutes that will determine care standards and how medicine is to be practiced, and therefore how it will be reimbursed. What I get from physicians, I've talked to lots of physicians about this, I've talked to just about every physician practice group out there around here, is they're worried what young person is going to want to join this profession. And what young person is going to want to come out of college, spend 8-10 years in school, rack up all those student loans, to come out and work in a profession where they really can't exercise their discretion, where they can't customize the care and really do their craft and art because of rigid rules, because healthcare and the insurance and the practices are really dictated by a commissioner or a board of people in Washington determining, based upon cost, how healthcare is to be delivered in this country. That, to me, is one of the big side effects that would come from this route, this path, doing it this way. And that's why in other countries you do have shortages. In Canada, in England, and other places. Look, it's not as if we got it figured out right in America. We don't. We do have a system that has a lot of flaws in it. We've discussed some of those. I'd like to address those flaws. I think some other states or countries are worth looking at. Switzerland, I think, has a pretty impressive system. I've incorporated lots of the elements of their plan in the bill that I'm proposing. It says it's health insurers, you know what, you can't deny people, you got to give them coverage. Number two, you can't cherry pick. You can't just go pick healthy people and then get away with it. You're going to be assessed a penalty, and that money will go to the insurance company that does insure the non-healthy people. You know, I think there are things you can do. In addition, what I propose is every state has to offer the basic plan we have in Congress, the Blue Cross Standard Federal Employee Option Plan. It's a good plan. Give everybody access to buy the same thing. I think there are things you can do to fix the problems we have in insurance laws to keep a system where ultimately the driver of the system is the patient and the doctor exercising choice. At the end of the day, you know, it's basically one of two ways. The current system is really pretty much unsustainable, this third-party payment system. It's either we put all our eggs in the government basket and have the government decide how to manage this thing, and doing that in the context of this cost explosion, this debt explosion we have, or change the system and give patients more power. Give them more power in two forms. In the forms of money, literally money to go buy health insurance. And you can do that by fixing the way our tax system works today without spending more money. And more power so that they have more power vis-a-vis insurers. And that to me is the better way to go. And I would personally, I think the way to go is to subsidize those who have pre-existing conditions, those who are sick, in either risk pools or reinsurance. What I mean when I say that is, insurance, about 8% of Americans under 65 are deemed uninsurable. Are people who had type 2 diabetes, who had breast cancer 8 years ago, who are pretty much people with pre-existing conditions. I think we should limit their out-of-pocket costs so they don't go bankrupt when they get sick. Target the payments to them, to their premiums. By doing that, you clean up the rest of the insurance pools for everybody else. Because the insurance pool then doesn't have to guard against the fact that a handful of people might have cancer. And I just talked to a gentleman yesterday, and he was telling me he has about 25 employees. One of them got breast cancer, and the premiums for their health plan for he and all of his employees the next year doubled. You know, that's a huge problem that's going throughout this country. So what if we say those who get that kind of an illness, society cares about this, target the subsidies to them so that their out-of-pockets are limited, and then that way the insurance pool knows that once somebody gets really sick, they're not going to have to bear all of the costs of paying for that care, and then it will be reflected to the premiums of that small business. To me, target the subsidies where they are to go, to those with illnesses, pre-existing conditions. You make insurance cheaper for everybody else, equalize the tax treatment for everybody. So regardless of how you get your health insurance, whether it's at your job, whether you're unemployed, whether you're self-employed, you get the same benefit as anybody else, and you have a voucher or a tax credit with which to go and purchase health insurance. That to me is a smarter way to do that. And I've already demonstrated you can do that without massive new tax increases or new spending, and it actually helps bend the cost curve in the end of the day.